Just, I love it when just things aren't working. Things aren't working the way they're supposed to. Let's see, we were looking at Dad Book. We were thinking about, like, what our next date should be. I have gone on a date with everyone except Brian. We're not doing Brian. I don't like Brian as a person. We have not gone on a date with Craig. I kind of don't want to go on a date with Craig just because, like, he feels like that best friend that you had in college. Like, I don't feel any kind of romantic attraction towards Craig because he's too much of like, bro. So I think we're going on a second date with Matt. And besides, Matt is very much Carousel's type. I mean, I think technically everyone in this game is Carousel's type, but instead of messaging the guy, why don't I just walk over and grab some coffee? I'm feeling really sluggish today anyway. Amanda sticks her head out of the room. Father! Want to go to the coffee spoon? Oh, so you get called cool once and now you're the cool dad who hangs out at coffee shops and listens to neo jazz and stuff? Amanda, are you gonna bring your laptop and your leather-bound journal so you can work on your poetry anthology? Young lady, I'm feeling personally called out on this. Look, honey, do you want me to buy you coffee or not? Let me grab my laptop and leather-bound journal. Oh, this guy. Amanda and I make the short walk over to the coffee spoon. The place is quiet today, just a few people hanging out and reading books in the cozy little nooks. I walk up to the counter and see a familiar pierced face. Hey, you were the dude I yelled at a bunch the other night. I don't remember the voice that I did for him. Amanda casts a sideways glance at me. He tried to sell me shirts. And who might you be, miss? This is my daughter, Amanda, the person I am a father to and am very protective of. An honor to make your acquaintance. My name is Pablo. Did I mention that I make witch house music? I wouldn't call witch house music, but okay. A piercing blow to my ego, though not one that will dissuade my need to impress you. My innate dad senses tingle. I am overwhelmed with a fatherly protective energy. I must do something to protect my child. Is Carousel saying that, like, Pablo is hitting on Amanda? Defend Witch House. Reappropriate lines from Taken? No, we're not doing that. That's weird dad stuff. I'll defend Witch House. Hey, Witch House is actually a nuanced form of music that many people enjoy, and I think our dear Pablo here should be proud to be making. Or technically making, since he's only done the logo so far. Yeah. Also, I've never listened to Witch House before. Carousel. Matt comes out from washing dishes in the back room to meet Amanda and I. He and I high-five as fellow cool people do. I see you've met my newest employee. At your service, although I'm only here until Vacant Veil starts their world tour. When's that? Well, we have to put out a record first. All right, Pablo. Now, what do we do with customers again? Right, yes. Pablo clears his throat. Hello, good folk of Maple Bay. Can I interest you in a tasty caffeinated beverage? A smashing pumpkin spice latte, please. Smashing pumpkins, yes. A classic. And you? Americano football, decaf for cutie, or Father John Misto. I think Americano football. That's like a dark coffee. I don't know anything about coffees. I know teas, I know whiskeys. Coffee's out of my wheelhouse. Our coffee is as strong as that band's feelings. Good choice. I don't get it. Oh, American football is a sport, but it's also this emo band that made a good album and then waited over a decade and then made another good album, and their music was very sad and sometimes featured sad trumpets. I don't know the coffees, but I do know. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know American football is a band, although I should have if it was an emo album. And I'm over explaining the joke again. Coming right up. Pablo gets to work making our drinks while Matt observes him. He'll get the hang of it. For as goofy of a dude as he is, kid works hard. Hey man, that concert was a lot of fun. We should hang out again. Ooh, flirting face to face? Carousel is brave! I couldn't do it! Hell yes. I'm actually gonna be done training Pablo in a couple hours and was gonna go record shopping. Wanna come along? Absolutely. Pablo brings us our drinks and Amanda buries herself in her laptop. I spend my time sipping my drink and cracking jokes with Matt. Honestly, like this right here is a good date for me. Just sitting, like, talking, sipping on something that is preferably not caffeinated. Last time we hung out, he told me that he had trouble hanging out with other people, but for some reason, he and I can talk and joke like old buds. It's weird. I feel really comfortable with him. It's so sweet. Today is definitely strawberry milk and boba day. Like, ever since I had this combination last Friday, I loved it, and I just couldn't wait to have it again. But it feels like a treat, so only Fridays. Once Matt feels comfortable leaving Pablo on his own, I say goodbye to Amanda and we start walking to the record store. Have you ever been here before? No, I mean, we have a record player sitting in the living room, but all I have are 2 copies of Frampton Comes Alive. Oh, this should be fun then. We're gonna find you some good stuff. So, I have been in a shop like this. The only concert that the only concert that didn't involve sitting down and, like, classic music was a Proto Man concert. And this was, like, well before the pandemic. And they had, it was in Chicago. And so, like, this was an all-day thing because of the drive to get to Chicago. But you get there, and on the first floor, it's like you can either come in on a restaurant side or on the stage side, and there is a hallway in between, but like you come in on the stage side and there's a bar in the back and stage up front, and you could do this thing where like you could walk up behind the bar, like behind the bar and above, and there was seating there, like shitty couches, and I think like a cement seat in the back that just the bench went all the way across. And like it was so amazing. But what was even cooler, because this is like a small space, you could actually go up a flight of stairs in between the restaurant and the stage. And if you go up that flight of stairs, the second level was a record shop like this. And it was like they had old music, new music. They had bands that neither Terrell nor I had ever heard of before. It was so cool. And then you go up the next flight, and I think that was like storage or something. We didn't have access to it. And then you go up, and on the fourth flight was like the roof, and the roof had a bar and a pool table and a seating area, and it was the coolest thing. It was the coolest thing. We actually went to 2 concerts there. Both were for Proto Man, or the Proto Men. At like amazing. Highly recommend. The walls of the store are packed with posters, artwork, stickers, and records. A few people mill around, flipping through milk crates of albums. Some indie band is playing through the speakers. It's a nice vibe. So, why do people still buy records? Isn't it kind of outdated at this point? The talk of a bar while you're at the coffee shop makes me want to drink the espresso martini. Ooh. I mean, I wouldn't like the coffee part, but at the same time, that sounds amazing. And no worries. Whenever I play and have Robert anywhere on the screen, immediately I'm like, I need a whiskey. Just a good sipping whiskey, not like shooting whiskey. Just like that little There are a lot of people who will try to tell you that vinyl sounds warmer or more true to the artist's intent, but really, I think it's just nice to collect records. It's 11:23 a.m. and technically... Ooh, true. True. No, yeah. I mean, there's coffee in it, so you could just be like, it's coffee. But no, I agree. It's probably a bad idea. It's cool that in this day and age we have just about every song ever created available instantaneously on our phones. But there's something about holding an album and getting to see the artwork in your hands that I'll always love. Same? Like, okay, so, a friend of Terrell and I's passed away last year, and he had this huge CD collection. And so even though we don't have a CD player, like I ended up buying a whole bunch of his old CDs because I agree, like there's that good feeling of having the album, and especially like because it belonged to him. And so it's one of those like he listened to this, he jammed out to this, probably traveled with this. And so like I agree, there is that thing of holding something. That's why I try to get as many of the records that I love in physical form as possible. Hey Ren, how are you doing? Ooh, TTRPG books, true. Matt is a spicy meatball, let me tell you. Matt, I'm pretty sure, like, if Robert wasn't here, I think Matt would be my favorite, but the two of them, like, do this in my head. And yes, physical copy, absolutely. Remember when we were kids and would have to wait around by the radio with a cassette tape so that we could record our favorite songs? I remember that from when I was a small child, and I feel attacked. It made each listen really special, and mixtapes were even cooler because of how much work they took. That is true. Now you just make a playlist. I think the last time someone gave me a real mixtape was in high school. I look around the multi-level record store and spot some genres. Future wave, jungle, anarcho-punk, nunsploitation. I have no idea where to even start. Can't quit Robert, but it sure is nice to... True. It's like... Robert is that thing that's like, it's bad for you, and he's sugar. Like, you shouldn't have a whole lot of Robert, but he's a nice treat. And then you've got Matt over here who's vegetables. He's like, I'm gonna take care of you and make sure that you are good. Man, this is a little overwhelming. Here, let me help you find something you might like. If you were a milkshake, what flavor would you be? I don't know, would you lick me? Purple. Honestly, I like strawberry. Cookies and cream ends up being too much. Vanilla needs something. Purple's not a fucking flavor, so strawberry. If you could only buy one type of candle scent for the rest of your life, what would it be? Lilac. Daffodil Mountain Spring. Ugh, Camouflage Summer Breeze. Spring Creek Fireball, nope. Power Violence Cherry Blossom. I think Daffodil Mountain Spring. What's your favorite ambient sound? Rain. 100% rain. I love this idea. It's not me. Ooh. Howls of the Bone Chorus. I want that to be a new band name. But it's rain. It's rain. I'm very vanilla when it comes to that. Like, just give me rain. Dream vacation spot. My backyard. Not after this pandemic. Inside an active volcano, living off the fat of the land in Ibiza, or starting a new life in the Baltics. Knowing Carousel, it's starting a new life in the Baltics. What's your deepest, darkest fear? I worry that people are nice to me only because they want something from me. Oh no. I fear that I don't deserve happiness and won't ever get it. What if nobody exists but me and I'm fabricated in this universe? Saying you too when a waiter tells you to enjoy your food. So it's this one for me? And also, actually, I think probably for Carousel too. Like, he is very much... Right. But yeah, like, Carousel in particular is very much one of those who it's like, how am I useful here? If I'm not useful, why am I here? Matt thinks for a moment. Oh, I know just the thing. Matt runs to the other end of the store and returns holding a record behind his back. He shows it to me. This is Trouble Will Find Me by National. I'm gonna write this down so I can look it up. Because I would love to know it. Trouble Will Find Me. By The National. The National have honored their sad guy sound on album after album, and by this point, they're old pros about feeling blue. The music is so amazing that it'll actually cheer you up. I cannot wait to hear this, I'm not gonna lie. Whoa, dude, thanks for the recommendation. You're gonna have a great time with it, promise. Matt and I bring our records to the cash register. A young girl with a septum ring and a buzz cut stands behind the counter with one earbud in. Usual stuff today, Matt? Just some light pickups. Matt places 3 albums on the counter. Swear I'm Good at This by Diet Sig, Forever Mystery Skulls, and Greatest Hits by Remo Drive. Mystery Skulls, though. I love their music. I really, really love their music videos, but their music's good too. Tight. The cashier rings up Matt and hands back his albums in a bag. She stares at me suspiciously. Who's the nerd? Mystery Skulls is great. That nerd is my buddy Carousel. Carousel, this beacon of human charm is Molly. I got kicked out of art school for destroying my paintings at the end of every critique. Lovely to meet you. Anyway, Matt, is the open mic night still on? Yes, and they're gonna be bongos. You know it. Are the Third Waves gonna do a special acoustic performance? I might see if I can get a few of the girls together. I think open mic night with Matt would be great. There's an open mic night going on? Yeah, dude. We do it every month at the Coffee Spoon. Some amazing talent always comes through. I don't know, Mare, did you steal from Dream Daddy? Because this is the only place that open mics show up, not in the real world. Got a flyer for it right here. You and Amanda should come by that night. Matt blushes. Sweat! There's sweat upon him! I mean, if you're not doing anything. Will Vacant Veil be playing? If only. I finish paying for my record and we head out of the store. Man, what a trip down memory lane. I haven't been in a record shop like that since Vans had shag carpeting. I remember it and I don't miss it. And now that you mention it, isn't it strange to think of all those weird little musical memories? How do you mean? Well, I think music is a very time and place sort of thing. A song is important to me not only in that I think it sounds good, but where I was and what I was doing when I listened to it. There's music that reminds me of exes, of struggling through school, of being so poor that I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. All that stuff, and listening to those songs reminds me of those moments in my life. Man, I love you. Yeah, Now that I think of it, even the pop concert Amanda made me take her to is special to me. I mean, I'm not really a fan of the band, but hearing their songs on the radio reminds me of how young and excited Amanda was. Man, it would be terrible if music was taken away. And then, that even reminds me of a younger me, going to see my favorite bands in concert with all of my friends. We would always go to my friend Cynthia Chapman's house beforehand and smoke pot in her basement like we were so slick. Which was your idea? No, I understand. I understand. I do not mention it because it pains me. I mention it because it pains everyone else. Because, like, I figured there should be a way for me to, like, take a curse off, I think. Like, I keep meaning to look into it and then forgetting. Her parents definitely knew what we were doing. Wait, when was the last time you smoked pot? Matt stops and thinks for a moment. It's been decades. Dude, me too. There are ways. I figured, and we'll do that eventually. But for right now, I'm just gonna like, just twist that dagger anytime I possibly can. Like, trust me, it's not hurting me. I love it. It feels like my fan fiction days all over again, where it's just like, how can I hurt this person? Where do you even get pot now? Is that even what the kids call it these days? I don't know. But I bet I could find out. Do you want to get high and listen to our new records? Yes! P.S. Totally legal, especially because in Illinois, it is now legal to do this. And actually, so I'm gonna say yes, why not? Like, I have tried it a couple of times now that it's legal, and definitely never tried it before it was legal. And it doesn't do much for me. Like, I'll go into a story of Too High Help, like, sometime when I don't have to read from the screen in order to continue a game. But, like, either it has zero effect on me, or, oh no, I'm gonna die in space. Like, there is no in-between. If I could find an in-between, I think I would like it better, but I think maybe my physiology, like my body just doesn't understand. It's 0 or 100 miles per hour. No in between. Matt pulls out his phone and starts texting. After a few minutes, he looks up and smiles at me. Oh, Molly's got a hookup. Says to meet in an alley near the coffee shop. Okay, if it turns out it's the feds, you make a break for it and I'll take the heat. Sorry, just the irony here. I didn't know, first of all, didn't know. Number two, that's not what Carousel would say. Just promise me that you'll raise Amanda like she was your own. You realize that weed has been legalized in the state, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's California. It's California, yeah. I definitely knew that. So then why not just get from, like, a dispensary? But we live in dangerous times. Who knows what lurks in the seedy underbelly of Maple Bay? We could find ourselves on the wrong end of a deal gone bad. Just look out for Amanda. I swear. Oh, here's our guy. Coming around the corner of one of those nasty grease dumpsters, shrouded in darkness, is a lean figure dressed all in black. Is this Sadman? Excuse me, Mr. Rugman. Oh my god, it's this child! Surprised, the person almost jumps out of their skin. It's Lucian, Damien's son. Who sent you? We're cool, man. We're cool. Says who? For all I know, you could be with the feds. Actually, weed is Prove you're cool. What? I need to know that you're down or I bolt. Show him you're not wearing a wire. Just impress him with your extensive knowledge of current drug lingo. Cite mutually assured destruction. I think mutually assured destruction, especially now that we know that this is a child. Look, man, we're trying to we're trying to buy drugs from you, and we know you sell drugs. You have dirt on us, we have dirt on you. We're in this together now. Look, it's fine, I get it. Buzzcut Molly said you were coming. Right. Now that formalities are out of the way, let's make a deal. All right, how much do you want? 1. No! 1 what? Yeah. He means weed, Lucian. Yeah, but how much? I do not have a consistent sound for Lucian. Matt! Please! 1! Oh my god, look. Here, take this. Give me $10. $10?! Just don't tell my dad. Let's all forget this ever happened. $10? $10? That is a really good deal. Unless, like, he gave them, like, 1 pack, but... Or, like, enough to pack once. But, like, 8 ounces is $50. This math does not... I won't tell your dad if you don't. Lucian hands me a baggie of something and disappears down the alleyway. I open it and take a whiff. Smells like genuine drugs. Yes, sirree. Fantastic. I didn't know. Didn't know. That went smoothly. Yeah. We should get off public property before we smoke this. Great idea. Let's head back to my place, yeah? This is fantastic. Matt and I walk to our cul-de-sac and stop at a gas station on the way to buy rolling papers and soda. I feel like I'm 16 again. Oh, they're going with rolling papers. Ma. Also need chips. Carmencita's having, a sleepover tonight, so that gives us all the time we need to do drugs. Awesome. Like, so they have both mentioned that they have smoked pot in the past. And I want to know at what time did, like, the change happen from, you know, they're just kids doing this and they know what it's called and what to do, to being like, drugs and awkward. I want to know where that line was, and I want to know, like, do you have to cross it? Awesome. Let's do some drugs. Matt pulls one of the records out of his bag and puts it on for us. I plop down on a comfy leather couch and look around his place. There are a bunch of band posters, and his record collection takes up an entire wall. Whoa, what a collection. I've been collecting my whole life. It was nice to finally get them all in one place after being on the road for so much of my life. I had to ask my parents to hold on to them for me. Matt sits down next to me and we lay the marijuana drugs out on the coffee table. Do you want to do the honors? Please, it's your house. If you say so. Matt pulls out some rolling papers and sprinkles some of the beatnik tobacco. He starts rolling it back and forth, and the paper breaks almost immediately, spilling drugs all over the couch. Why do you keep calling it drugs? Never was too good at this. Matt tries again and is able to successfully roll a nice-looking... It's a joint. It's called a joint. He hands me a lighter and the blunt, I think, and I take it. Also, I just realized for some reason that my web captions aren't playing, and I don't know why, but I think I'm okay with it for this one, because it'd just be like bleeping out a bunch of stuff. Well, let's Open up the nog. Smoke some sweet gateway drug. Rip that golf fairway. God, I want to say open up the nog. I hate this one. I hate rip the golf fair. Gateway drug. I don't know if that's what people call it. Oh, I wonder if I made a bad choice. I light the joint and inhale deeply. This is not what I remembered. It's been a while, though. Maybe pot drugs have just gotten more potent since the last time I smoked. Random fact, they have, because, you know, like, people want a more intense high, and especially, like, depending on what he got, whether it was, I know there are two types. I know indica, and the other one, salvia? I can't remember what the second one is. I pass the joint to Matt, and cough a little bit. Should it sting this much, or am I just a baby? It stings, and I hate it. Matt takes a hit, and his eyes go wide. That's not... Oh my god, it's oregano. Oh god. Did we develop a taste for meth? No, it's... Matt takes another hit and winces. Yeah, this is oregano. I sniff the air. Yeah, that would definitely explain why it smells like a pizza place in here. That little punk ripped us. That explains why it was $10! Why would $10? That's like buying something from like Wish or AliExpress, and then when it comes, you're like, oh, I didn't know it would be made of cheap shit. You paid $10 for a corset. It's gonna be cheap. That punk ripped us off. Oh well, we can still relax and enjoy the music sober. You know what? You're right. We sit and listen through the Diet Sig album Matt bought, which is catchy as hell. I look around the room again and see photos of Carmencita growing up. I spot a young woman with a huge smile in one of the pictures with the two. Who's that? Oh, that's Rosa. She was Carmencita's mother. She died when Carmencita was young. I'm sorry to hear that. Amanda lost Alex at a young age, too. I can understand how hard that must have been. I look around again, spotting a framed gig poster hanging on the wall. On it, there's an illustration of Matt and Rosa surrounded by flowers. The cursive lettering reads, "Stillness the Dancing." Looks like they played the Soundgarden over a decade ago. Were you two in a band together? Yeah. That was the reason I was touring so much when I was younger. We traveled the whole country in this rinky-dink little van. It was hard to start, but once we started gaining notoriety and seeing how much our songs meant to kids, it was just incredible. Wow. That seems like a life some people only dream of. It was. And it was difficult at the same time. I couldn't have done it without someone by my side. Rosa and I knew that we couldn't do it forever. The long hours on the road, missing your family, sleeping in the van, all that stuff. So once she became pregnant with Carmencita, we put down our roots in our favorite town to play in. Right here. Since she was a kid, Rose always had a dream to own a quiet little coffee shop. She died before it happened. I'm so sorry. Don't be. I'm not really sure what to say. I couldn't possibly count the number of times I told people the same thing after Alex died. Matt gets up to flip the record. Next to the turntable, I notice a dusty piano. Do you play? I'm out of practice. I used to jam on the keys back in the day. Oh yeah? I fronted the hottest 7-piece ska band at Eagle Rock Bay High School had to offer. Ska will never die. No way, you had a ska phase? Phase? Ska never dies. Except for Scommunist Manifesto, who broke up after the senior talent show to pursue solo careers. Dude, that's so rad. Matt pulls out the piano bench. Give me some of that two-tone love. I will give you all of the love, Matt. Oh man, let's see if I still got it. I sit down at the piano. We're not doing Wonderwall? We're not doing Wonderwall. Are we drugs? Unfortunately, drugs ended up being oregano. They got duped. I know, right? Ska roots. Ska roots. Ska root? Hey, I think I'm doing it. I'm playing ska. Wait, was that just smoke on the water? Matt, I have forgotten how to play. The Deep Purple is always appreciated nonetheless. Alright, buddy, can you top that? Oh, yeah? One up? Is that what's up? Come on. Like, you gotta jump if you want this. There you go. You can see the tail. I am petting the cat. I shouldn't. Aw, come on. They're all asking me to pet you. I'm petting you, Velcro. No, it's been a long time. Never too late to get back into it. Matt, you just sat through a butchered version of Deep Purple's Smoke on the Water. How much worse can it be? Matt stares at the piano for a second. Okay. Look at all those eggplants! I'm, okay. Matt closes his eyes and runs his fingers over the keys. He breathes in deep and starts playing a melody. If I didn't know that he hadn't played the piano in a long time, I would have never guessed it. Matt plays a soft, sweet tune filled with emotion. You good? He was like biting my sleeve. Not the skin, just like the end of the sleeve. I've never heard this before. Is this one of his original works? This is so cool. Matt finishes the song and finally opens his eyes. How was that? That was amazing. Oh, it's nothing. Come on, man. That was killer. Are you gonna pull that out for the open mic night? Oh, no, I never play at those. Well, why not? You're really good. It's just... I just don't do it anymore. I just don't like being up there and alone and having so many people stare at me. It doesn't feel fun anymore. I can sense that Matt's getting uncomfortable at the thought of it. I won't push it any further. Alright, man. But I hope you know how beautiful your music is. Thanks. Matt and I sit and listen to more records until it gets late, and I decide that I need to get to bed. Matt walks me to my door. Let's never tell anyone about the oregano, okay? Deal. Wait, can I tell my doctor? I don't know anything about the health effects of smoking oregano, and I think we'll be fine. Night, dude. I smile. Night.